Good evening, everyone. So, going to start with the continuation of the second chapter, that is the designing process. In the last chapter, in the last slide, we have seen something about the designing of the embedded system in which the hardware components were designed. Now, with respect to that hardware designing, we are going to see the software designing as well. As we know, embedded system is nothing but a combination of hardware as well as software. So in combination with these two, it is must to design the hardware as well as software. So moving toward the next slide, let us see what is the application specific circuits, in which some hardware components are common while designing the embedded systems, right? Likewise, we have seen the hardware components where the power supply is the common hardware design, where it is needed compulsorily for any application, or it may be the use of the battery as well. But the same application, but as we know, depending upon the user's demand, depending upon the user's application, but some are the different and depends upon application need. Like for example, suppose a temperature sensor need a temperature sensor for sensing the temperature, right? Likewise, if we need to detect the alcohol, where is the presence of alcohol, there is the alcohol detector sensor where the sensors are different. So according to the application, the needs of the sensor is different. If you want to sense the water indication level, the sensor is different. You need to measure the temperature, the sensor is different. Likewise, if you need to design, or if you need to detect the alcohol detection, there is having some other sensor which is going to detect, that is the alcohol level detector sensor, which is going to design likewise. So according to the application, there are specific designing of the hardware components, but the remaining hardware components might be same. Like I told you earlier, the power supply, the processor, the display device and the buzzer of the alert. These are the main hardware, or these are the main components which are required for any application you design. Just the sensors whatever you are going to use is different according to the applications. So power supply is required for the main supply for your application. Processor is required for the memory which you are going to use to whether you are going to use the microprocessor, whether you are going to use any microcontroller to dub the circuit or to dub the software in it. Then next we are going to use the display device. Likewise, we have seen the LCD, if you are going to use the LCD to display it, and afterly just to indicate something, whatever it is, just to indicate the user, we are going to use a buzzer for the alert purpose. So likewise, these are the common factors which you are going to find in the hardware components. So let us move towards the software components. Now what exactly is the software components? In hardware, you are actually using some hardware components, so it might be called as hardware components. But what is in the sense of software components? So software components, once the hardware is completed, we need to build the software for the embedded devices. We know it as software and hardware together, the combination of embedded systems. So there are the different tools for the programming and for coding, right? There are different tools for programming and for coding. So likewise, the tools whichever you are going to use for the programming purpose or for the coding purpose, it is nothing but called as software components. So let us see in detail about the software components. Now, how is software embedded into a system? This is the main question, where we need to know how exactly the software code or whatever the programming you are writing, that the code you are writing, how it has been dubbed into that microcontroller. What exactly is the procedure to follow that? So whenever we are going to write, or wherever there is a need to write a program, the program has to be written in an assembly language which is followed or which is understood by the PC. Is it not? Or that assembly language, or else you can write that code or that program in an embedded C language. We know we have written the code earlier in the C++, right? But the embedded C language is different, which is followed for the particular applications in embedded systems. Once you have been writing that language, whatever you need, whether it is in assembly or in a language embedded C, then we need to compile that in some particular software for debugging that code. Then once the code is compiled, that particular PC is going to convert that code into the hex code. Is it not? The language which is understood by the PC is whatever you are typing is in 110 and decimal numbers, is it not? But whatever is the language understood by the PC is in the binary number, or that binary number is again converted into the hex code. So this hex code is the program which is burned into the ROM, that is the memory of the system, using some programmer, right? This is the procedure where you need to follow to bug the program or to burn the program into one particular controller, or you may use as a processor. So to do that, these are the tools. Which are the different tools to bug that program into that particular ROM memory? First one is the assembler, second one is the emulator, third one is the debugger, and the fourth one is the compiler. Once the assembler is done, these are the tools generally used in the embedded system tool for the development. First one, as I told you, it is the assembler, second one is the emulator, third one is the debugger, and fourth one is the compiler. Is it not? So let us see one by one what is the assembler, emulator, debugger, and finally the compiler. First one, assembler. Assembler is when a program is, the programmer in an assembly language, this assembly language program is converted into the hex code. As I told you earlier also, whenever you are going to write a program that might be in a C language or that might be in an assembly language, that language code has to be converted into the hexacode, that is converted into the hex code using this utility, that is using the assembler utility. And then using some hardware called as a programmer, we write the chip. That is means the whatever the program you have been written, which is converted into the hex, is been dubbed into the chip, and this is nothing but the work of assembler. Now second we are going to see is the emulator. Now what is the use of this emulator? Now this emulator is a hardware or it might be a software tool that has a similar functionality to the target system or the guest system. Now this emulator is going to be the, what you can say, it is going to connect the application and the software, right? That is nothing but called as an emulator. So that emulator is going to connect the application, the hardware, and the software from which you are going to feed that program into that hardware, right? So that is the guest system, or you may say it as a target system. So it enables the host system to execute the functionality and the other components. So what is the main work of the emulator? First one, either the emulator can be the hardware or it can be the software tool. It is going to function the target system, or you may call it as a guest system, where it is going to enable the host system, that is nothing but the main application, where to execute the functionality and the other components, right? But this emulator, it is nothing but the replica of the target system and used for the debugging the code and other issues. Now for example, suppose you need to connect, now for example you can say when a person wants to cross the road, right, from cross the road, that is nothing but when two roads are connected, how it can be connected, or the two buildings can be connected. Most of the things you can see there is a bridge where we can connect the two roads, right? So whenever you are walking on the road, you are going to, what exactly you are doing, you are going to pass from that bridge, is nothing but you are walking on that and then you are going to cross it. Is it not? Means that you are finally, whenever you are going to reach to that other side is your target system. So whenever you are going to walk on the target system is nothing but your target and wherever you are going to, where is your main destination, where you are standing is your code, right? So when the code is going to reach into the target system is nothing but done as the debugging, and that debugging is nothing but done by the emulator. Hope so you have understood. Okay. So next, once the program or the code is fixed at the host system, it is transferred to the target system. Okay. Now what is the use of the debugger? Now sometimes we not getting expected results or output due to the errors or bugs. As we have learned earlier also, if you are going to use a hardware components, wherever you are going to mount those components on your PCB, you need to check at the output of each and every component whether it is working as an expected or not, as the target expected or not. Is it not? If you fail to check it, the output may vary or it may not give the correct result as you are expecting. Similarly, once the hardware components are totally checked, right, now we are going to look for the coding purpose. Now for that coding purpose also, somewhere while writing the code or while programming, you may have some errors, you may have some bugs, right? The result or whatever is the expected from you people or whatever is the expected from the application, it might not work or it might not give the correct results. So for that time, what you're going to do is, there are some certain tools that are specifically used for debugging process, where we can see the controller's flow and the register's value to identify the issues, right? Now while debugging the program, what is the main concept we are going to see is what debugger is going to do, it is going to see the flow, actually how the program is going to flow. And the second thing it is going to see, flow is from start to end what the programming is going to do, what it has been doing, you are going to see that. And second thing, it is going to check the value of the register. Now what is the register? I have told you already, that is the register which is being used in the controller. Which kind of register you are going to use? So where the value of register is always increasing according to the application or according to the program used, whether if it is decreasing or increasing according to the flow, whether the register is working accordingly or no, whether the count is increasing or no. So these are the two sources for this debugger to identify the issues. If the register is working properly, if the flow control is good, then your program output has to be good. Okay, and the last one is the compiler. Now what is this compiler? This compiler is a software tool that converts one programming language into the target code that a machine can understand. Okay, means what? Suppose if I need to give an example of this compiler, is that in a human beings also, if you see the human beings talking together, what you can recognize in between? Suppose the two human beings don't know the language of each other, right? They don't understand what they are talking to each other. Now how you can compile their language so that they can understand each other's language? One, you can use the emulator in between. For that emulator is nothing but a third person who is understanding the language of both. Suppose one is understanding Marathi, one is understanding English. But the emulator is a thing, or the compiler is the device where it can understand the language English as well as it can understand the language Marathi. So the Marathi language is converted into English, is done by the compiler, where it is